Cancer makes us stronger. It's an opportunity to change in ourselves towards bravery, finding purpose in life, values and life ethics. Saurabh, India, age 19, diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma at 16. Each year, approximately 400,000 new cases of cancer are diagnosed worldwide among children and adolescents, age 0 to 19, and it is the leading cause of death in this population. Yet 80% of children with cancer survive in high-income countries, a rate that could be even higher with greater therapeutic innovation. In low and middle-income countries, the survival rate drops dramatically to 20%. Many of these deaths are avoidable and are due to a lack of diagnoses, misdiagnoses, or delayed diagnoses, as well as limited access to care, abandonment of treatment, death from toxicity, and higher rates of recurrence. From here came the idea of POEM Group, the collaborative pediatric oncology regional group, formed in 2013 as a cooperative platform for physicians, scientists, and healthcare professionals from institutions in the Middle East, North Africa, and West Asia region.
POEM initially was an idea that came up among discussions between St. Jude and the leadership at the Children's Cancer Center in Lebanon. And it was just a discussion of, the importance of having a regional network for pediatric oncology.
Before POEM was established, the collaborations were with specific centers between St. Jude and the regions, and it was essential to approach the region and try to consolidate those collaborations in order to facilitate how St. Jude can assist the region.
We discussed having a combined St. Jude Children's Cancer Center symposium where we would invite leaders from the region, leaders of pediatric hospitals from the region, and discuss having a pediatric oncology network. The symposium was held in Lebanon in 2013. And at that time, there were about 13 centers that were represented, people coming from different backgrounds, different languages. And we had a general pediatric oncology symposium, and then there was a whole session about, having a collaborative network. And over a period of one afternoon, we came up with a name for the group, which was POEM, and we had the commitment of those members to start working on forming a group. Over the next 2 years, we set the bylaws, the vision, the mission, the governing structure. We set up criteria for election of the board, how the board would be elected, how they would be represented. And we started trying to expand those numbers so that we have more representation from the region.
In the span of a decade, the geographical reach of POEM Group grew substantially to include more than 625 registered members from 120 centers in 28 countries, including doctors, nurses, pharmacists, researchers, and other healthcare-related specializations. POEM is governed by a board of directors, where representatives are nominated and elected by POEM members in each country. All countries are represented in the board of directors with a representation ratio reflecting the different countries' populations. Regional office is located at the American University of Beirut, in Beirut, Lebanon. Over the years, the POEM Group became one of the leading pediatric oncology collaborative groups in the East and Mediterranean regions, fulfilling its main mission: continuous improvement of pediatric oncology care, research, training, and advocacy in the region using integrated teamwork.
That allowed for was utilization of resources that exist in that region. So identification of centers of excellence, not only in treatment but also in education. And those then became the regional centers for training other pediatric oncologists or aspiring pediatric oncologists.
Clinical fellowships and short-term training are areas of major interest, as the POEM Group is optimally situated to assist in the transfer of knowledge and technology within this region. POEM has been facilitating the provision of training grants in collaboration with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. to enable access to regional tertiary care centers and university hospitals where expertise and formal training programs are already well established.
Through collaboration, you learn, you share problems with each other, and you celebrate success with each other. And it gives you a lot of power, because most of the time you are facing similar problems, similar challenges, and together, in my opinion, it's much easier to face the challenges when you are not alone. For example, you have a difficult case, you can call the colleagues and ask for their opinion. Then you are doing research, you need some advice, or you need collaborators, then you can call and you get a response.
The case discussion forum was the first need that was verbalized by the first board of directors. There was the feeling that practitioners, pediatric oncology practitioners in the region would benefit from discussing the difficult cases in a forum where they could get the input both of experts from St. Jude as well as from experts in the region and people who have seen a lot of those cases. The POEM case discussion community has been extremely supportive for individual practitioners and trying to figure out the best way to care for their patients.
So I think the POEM group really, this was a great exercise, the setting up of the fellowship programs. I think there's need to expand this in terms of scope. We have the full 3-year fellowship training program through POEM, but I think what really is needed beyond that is multiple smaller training programs, even for pediatric oncologists, even for pediatric oncology training. So we've got 3 main centers which have been identified, and these are in Egypt, Lebanon, and Jordan.
So during pediatric residency, Raya Saab, which was the director of fellowship, she was like my mentor, and I told her that I feel I need to do, or I like to do, pediatric oncology because I need to transfer the experience of the St. Jude Lebanon, what is called St. Jude Lebanon, the Childhood Cancer Institute of Lebanon, to Syria, because I see a lot of advocacy, a lot of passion, a lot of advanced quality care in Lebanon.
Additionally, there is short-term trainings, particularly for nursing, pharmacy, allied healthcare professionals, in addition to some of the medical subspecialties that are requiring short-term exposure. The radiation oncology, surgery, neurosurgery. The nursing workshop is geared toward improving the care for nursing, improving the nursing care for childhood cancer patients and aiming to improve the outcome.
After the POEM network became well established and the training programs had taken off, as well as the case discussion forums, there started to be requests from within the POEM community as well as from the board of directors to start focusing on research, because as we all know, research at the end of the day does advance patient care and it goes hand in hand with good patient care.
Systematically looking at problems that are arising within there and coming up with solutions for those problems. And that really needed research methodology. And so towards that end, we actually started working with St. Jude Global. We started the series of research methodology workshops.
Years ago, we established a research advisory committee for POEM. And the members of the research committee are very well-established researchers who are POEM members and who are in the POEM region. And we also set up a proposal platform within the POEM website where investigators could propose a study, sort of a concept proposal for a study that could be done within the POEM framework. So POEM in that case would act as a facilitator to link investigators together, to have multi-institutional studies, or whether they're retrospective, prospective, survey studies, etc. And over the past 2 years, we have had 3 studies that were initiated. So currently, POEM has become well poised to start moving forward with clinical research projects that are multi-institutional and that can work on both building capacity for research as we roll over those studies, as well as improving the research culture in the POEM region.
The St. Jude Global Eastern Mediterranean Regional Program began more than 2 decades ago. In recent years, St. Jude Global has adopted a tiered model to expand the region through strategic planning of collaborative workshops and developing structured working groups at the regional, country, and hospital levels.
POEM Group is part of the family of the St. Jude Global Alliance in the sense that we started this journey together, if you wish, and that we are working towards the same purpose. In the Eastern Mediterranean region, I can see that the St. Jude Global Alliance will form a special bond with POEM in a way that this will create a bi-directional interaction and relationship with POEM helping us at St. Jude strategize, think about what is needed, how to do things, how to engage with programs, and help us prioritize our efforts. And at the same time, for us at St. Jude, trying to provide POEM with the tools that are needed to advance care for children with cancer in the region.
In 2022, foundations became members of the St. Jude Global Alliance, which brings us together under one umbrella to work hand in hand to save our children. LSAC, the American Lebanese Syrian Associated Charities, was created 5 years before St. Jude opened its doors in 1962. Our mission is solely to raise funds and raise awareness for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
POEM has influenced the development of pediatric oncology in many countries. As for Egypt, our fellows have participated in the research workshops conducted in collaboration with St. Jude. This learning opportunity expanded their knowledge in quality improvement, research methodology, study planning, and a positive impact was clearly observed in their research projects.
The main help from the POEM Group to our region is to our country is to help in capacity building in multiple levels, not only by sending machines to us, high-tech machines, but also for education, for the nursing education, for the physicians education, for to teach us the secrets of capacity building, the secrets of fundraising, because I work with an NGO called BESMA, the secrets of sustainability of care.
In a world full of pressures and wars, there are still many challenges facing doctors and health workers and those who are in the front lines of fighting childhood cancer. Multiple barriers to successful pediatric oncology care are common to countries within the POEM represented region.
We live in the region of disparities. I think that's the critical issue. And in my opinion, in the future, this should be, and this will be one of the cornerstones of POEM's mission to address these disparities in cancer care, cancer education, cancer research in general, in pediatric cancer world, specifically for the Eastern Mediterranean region.
It's very essential for POEM in the future to also build the healthcare system. Towards that, actually, POEM is a key partner now in the Global Initiative for Childhood Cancer. This initiative is in collaboration with the WHO, and it aims at providing access to care to children everywhere and to incorporate childhood cancer in national and global policies.
The next big project I think POEM will need to tackle is really mapping out the research capacity of the member institutions and helping fill in the gaps and helping the institutions fill in the gaps and build up their research infrastructure to be able to engage in the projects that will be rolling out through POEM.
This year, the POEM Group celebrates its 10th anniversary. Throughout this year, the POEM Group will celebrate the past and look forward to a promising new era of inspiration, innovation, and discovery to continue fulfilling its missions.
POEM Group's 10th anniversary celebration task force was formed in the beginning of last year. we have planned a series of celebration activities featuring the journey of an impactful regional collaboration and several educational, research, and advocacy endeavors.
At the end, Poem Group focused to achieve the right of every child with cancer in the region to have equitable access to highest quality care.
I remember our first meeting held in Lebanon, where we discussed the idea and the need to establish a regional pediatric oncology group. At that time, our success was doubted, but here we are celebrating the 10th anniversary.
There are probably three factors that contributed to the success of Poem. The first, that concept of creating a strategy. And so that the strategic thinking and strategic planning was key to success. The second is probably the focus in which the group stayed in line, keeping those guardrails that were defined over the years in terms of what was the strategy. And the third, I think it was more personal, is how to stay together. The group stayed together despite the challenges, despite the years, despite the changes in circumstances. And that is a very important factor that we must not forget.
Poem has set an ambitious and much-needed goal of transforming pediatric oncology care and collaboration in the region, which will only be feasible with the involvement and leadership at all organizational levels of primary stakeholders in pediatric oncology at the different centers and hospitals that are engaged with Poem projects.
On a personal level, Poem Group for me, it's a collaboration and friendship.
An inspiration and a continuous encouragement to me to do better.
Enthusiasm and a great commitment in its affiliated folks and institutions to work together.
It has like a special taste.
It's a belonging and commitment. To me, being part of Poem has enlarged my professional network in a very palpable manner.
It is a reminder that you should not be afraid of dreaming big.
For me, Poem Group's been a real journey. I mean, not just because of the friendships that I've made, but also because it's allowed a certain personal growth as well.
I've witnessed Poem transforming from an idea to reality. So to me, Poem is like seeing my baby growing and succeeding.
It's a story that can be described as well as a journey that has not ended and that will continue for many more years until all children with cancer in the Eastern Mediterranean region can be cured